So for my final project, I decided to watch the movie Remember the Titans. This movie represented the 1970s and how segregation was still a big issue. So the movie synopsis is that T.C. Williams High School decided that they were going to hire a new football coach for their team. So they decided on hiring an African American coach named Henry Boone to take over Coach Yost's position. There was a lot of controversy in hiring an African American because the players and the parents thought that Coach Yost was already doing a good job. And so when an African American coach was hired, they were not very happy with the decision. So Coach Boone takes the position and then he offers Coach Yost to be the defensive coordinator. And he decides that he wanted to take the position because he really cared about his players and so he wanted to see them succeed. Um, After all that was decided, the players went to a camp and there were a lot of quarrels amongst the players since they had conflict with each other's skin color. So Coach Boone strategizes in order to create peace and harmony among the players so that they play the game as a team and not by color. So after the camp, the team went back to play the semifinals, which was rigged by the referees, but the Titans ended up winning in the end. After the win, Bertier, who was the linebacker, he was in a car accident and that left him paralyzed from the waist down, and so he was no longer able to play in the championship. But the team does go on to play the championship game and they won. So the movie goes down 10 years later where the team reunites at Bertier's funeral due to a car accident. So while watching this movie, I thought about the topic of racism. I felt that this movie did a great job portraying how racism was such a huge deal, especially in the school setting. In the reading by Leonardo and Grubb, they explain that racism is multidirectional. They say that it's not only whites being racist against other minorities, but it's vice versa. So in this movie, you can see some of that when the students were going to the rival school to compete. You can see the animosity between the whites and the blacks against the white also. So I was really aggravated while watching this movie. I didn't like the segregation of the teams and how the white parents had such a hard time in understanding the integration of both teams. So while watching it, I was wishing I was able to be there and tell off all the people who were holding up signs and being negative. But what everyone wanted was for the team to win in the championship, and I don't understand why it would matter if they had different skin colors. They were all one, I'm sorry, they were all there for one ultimate goal, and that was to win. And as long as they win, who really cares what color they are? So, from this movie, I'm going to take away that racism is a huge deal in our society. I think that the most significant aspect of us living is that we are all human beings, and that's what makes us the same. And why should the color of our skin dictate what we can do or anything that we can do, actually? So, if you look at my present, you can see that there are steps from one slide to another. This is the sort of metaphor for racism. So progression through each of the slides and steps in order to get to the end goal, which is to end racism. Even though the end of the even though end of the end of racism won't stop quickly and end quickly, as how I went through my slides, but I feel that as though although we were making progress in the right direction, even though it's a slow process, there are many of us who are determined to make that change. So thank you for watching my Prezi. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions.